Hey everyone! Today I'm going to be talking about the Schlesinger Library on Women's History in America at Harvard Radcliffe's Institute for Advanced Study. We can go to the About page and find their mission. The Schlesinger Library dedicates itself to maintaining and sharing collections for free and public use that contribute or speak to America's history of feminisms, women's health, and women's activism, especially those concerning the intersectional workings of race and ethnicity, gender, sexuality, and class in American history. So, as I said before, this is housed at Harvard University, and it is free and open to the public, but because it is housed at an academic institution, that makes up a lot of its user base. So researchers, instructors, students, etc. But they do go out of their way in several locations to make clear that you do not need an institution affiliation in order to access their material. Their funding is not made publicly available, but they still are asking for collections, so we can assume that they're fairly well funded, besides the fact that they're housed at an Ivy League. So its interoperability and cooperation with other digital libraries is not made readily available either, but a large portion of that is because the digital library itself is rather small. It is the digital counterpart to a physical library, and a lot of its collections, like the one for Dorothy West, is actually a physical collection that is being digitized in part due to the condition of the physical archive. They are retiring it from public use, but still want to make sure that it is accessible to the public. So, the digital library contains photos, audio files, transcriptions, videos, scans of physical materials, and digitally born media like tweets and archived websites. And if we go to the About page, we can see what they plan to look like in the near future. Under acquisitional priorities, they list several areas of interest that they're looking for material on. Anyone can offer donations to the library, personal or professional, published or unpublished. And they would like to cover many different groups, including families across generations, which might not necessarily immediately and obviously speak to women's history. And if we go back to collections, you can see that it is largely organized by larger topic and then by individual person. So under arts, literature, and pop culture, you see Judy Chicago, Dorothy West, and Coretta Kent. And from there, you can see their individual materials. And as I said before, the physical library is currently being digitized, so they do have plans for additional materials being added. And they also have research guides and services where you can learn how to navigate the system, both physical and online. You can view their finding aids and their permissions and copyrights. They do have 2 search engines. This one is actually for the full Harvard library system, and it doesn't really matter which way you toggle this. It says search the Schlesinger Library Catalog, but it's still primarily, see, it still says this up here. It's not the greatest system. This one right up here is what you want to use if you want to view results specifically within the digital library. And they also have a tutorial to show you how to help transcribe the library itself if you wanted to be a part of that process. Technology itself, they're not very forthcoming with any of the information on that. I have visited the physical library and I feel like I remember there being a server room, but that's mostly, my bad memory, and it's not listed anywhere on the website. And as you can see, they do have some issues with the website itself. It actually just went under an update, and I don't like it. One of the biggest assumptions that they have is screen size, and I have a very small screen, as you can see, and I tried it on my office computer, and it's much more accessible, much easier to view and navigate. But let's do a quick little example of how you can use the collections. So first we're going to start with June Jordan and just take a look at her page. This is not one of the digital library collection sets, but I just think it's a nice little way to view how these can still be used. These are off-site locations, or this one is an off-site location, and this is showing a research guide that she can be a part of. You can see some pictures from within the collection, and then here at the very bottom you can see collections that are associated or relevant to this search. And then the other one that I really wanted to show you guys is one of the digital born collections. So on their About page, again, it's not super intuitive how to navigate their website, but you go to their About page, you go to their special projects, and they have a Me Too digital media collection. So from here, you can see how to access the collection, how to use the Twitter data, how to contribute, and they also offer other collections that are related. So previous sexual liberation movements that have added and allowed for this to happen. And this is really cool. They do archived websites, which is something that is largely overlooked as something that should be archived. You can narrow this down by subject, by creators, publishers, dates, locations, types, and you can even look up things that specifically came from the Medium, Reddit, The Verdict, or the Harvard Crimson, which is their local or their student newspaper. And one thing that I like in particular is that they don't just provide the full website that material is located on, they provide the specific page. And up here you can see how it is collected, you can see some of the metadata that they use to maintain it. And here you go, you have the single page from this Women's Union website that is specifically speaking to this moment in history. And you can even see some of the materials that they passed around as leaflets. And yeah, they have websites that have videos, they have websites that have blogs, they even have some of the comments available on there. One thing again that I will say is that they did have that recent update and it even affected this, and you can no longer go to the websites and view the videos that had been uploaded. And that was another one of the reasons that I chose this one, because even if you have tons of money, you can still have major design flaws in your digital library. Thanks.